Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with Invest for More, and this is a pretty exciting day. I wish it was because I was making lots of money or selling a property for a whole lot of profit, something like that. No, it's getting rid of something that I never should have bought in the first place, and hopefully everything goes through. We've had a few hiccups on it already, and I've kind of kept it really quiet as well because of the nature of the business and the property and what's going on there. So I am a real estate investor, business owner, have lots of stuff going on, and I thought it would be a really good idea to buy a bar, and I was 100% wrong. Not sugarcoated at all. And there were a lot of people too who told me, hey, don't buy a bar, that's one of the worst businesses you can be in. I'm like, no, I'm sure it'll be fine. And no, they were right. It's been horrible. So I actually bought two bars. One I had bought a couple of years ago during COVID. We remodeled it. Turned out we tried to change the plans too much and ended up not be able to make it into a bar, which is probably a blessing in disguise because the building code wanted us to have ADA bathrooms, just completely redo all of it. Then I tried to make a laundromat. That didn't work out either because of the water requirements. Ended up selling that a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and now I bought another bar during that whole situation, and that was a working bar, and that was open, working, and that just started out bad from the get-go because I also own a liquor store and mini mart, and in Colorado you are not allowed to have a liquor store and a bar. You can't have those two liquor licenses. The same person cannot have those. And I did not really know that until after I'd already been under contract on the bar, and I'm not someone to back up out of a deal. I almost always go through with deals unless something crazy happens. I guess that would be considered kind of crazy, but I went through with it. We ended up finding someone else to kind of run the bar. I own the building, and it just has not gone well at all. And so we did kind of put it up for sale a few months ago. Didn't get a lot of action, but then had an interested party, talked to them forever, and that was a crazy situation too, where I talked to the buyer directly for not months, but weeks and weeks, almost a month, and finally got them, to a point where we're going to make an offer. And then an agent calls me and says, hey, I'm representing this buyer, and it's like not the end of the world, but it's like, well, now I'm adding a commission into it that I didn't know about. And the agent kind of it could have been handled better, we'll say it that way. But got it under contract, and then we thought we were closing on it last week, literally the day before closing, and we kind of expected this because some of the stuff that should have happened hadn't happened yet. But the day before closing, the agent says, oh, we need another month to close. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't surprise me, but why are you telling me now? He's like, oh, the lender just told me we need another 30 days to close on this SBA loan. He never told me it's an SBA loan either. That's the first time I heard that. So anyway, I talked to the lender and say, hey, this agent's telling me you need another 30 days. What's going on? Is it close? And she says, well, I told that agent from the very beginning I needed 60 to 90 days to close this SBA loan, and he wrote the contract for 30 days. And I told the agent that, and the agent's like, they never told me that. And so basically the lender and the agent were arguing with each other through me about who told each other what. It's got to be both faults anyway, because the lender should be reviewing the contract and see the contract and see what the close dates are when they do a loan on a property. So they should have seen there was issues to start with too. The agent should have known there was issues. If I would have known it's an SBA loan, I would have known for sure it was going to take longer than 30 days, but they told me it's a local bank. I even went through and looked back at the pre-qual letter and everything. Nothing mentioned SBA in there anywhere, and so that was a bit of a surprise. And I wasn't real happy with the agent. He knew I wasn't real happy. And eventually, through talking to the buyer directly, and the agent, was okay with that, because you really shouldn't. I'm a real estate agent as well, broker. I should not be talking to the agent's client directly unless I have permission to do that. But I had permission to do that, and he was encouraging that to happen. We talked about doing seller financing to get the deal done short term, because they really wanted the bar right away, or doing some kind of land contract or a lease to them where they buy the business. So right now I'm going to meet them, and hopefully, if everything goes smoothly, the business is being sold and they're leasing the building from me until they've got their SBA loan figured out. They can buy the building from me, and then I'll be done with it forever. So hopefully everything goes okay. We've got to kind of short-term lease that ends as soon as they buy the building, and then they're paying the business directly. Of course, they're not paying me for the business, they're paying the other party who runs the bar and owns that part of the business, and I know they will be happy as well when this is all done and over with. So we will be getting some money today. They'll be transferring inventory, all the equipment, all of that, and then as soon as the liquor license is transferred over to the new party, which they say they've got ready to go, they just need a lease and the business sale to get that transferred, then they'll take over operations as soon as the liquor license is transferred. Hopefully that's right away and we don't have issues where they bought the business and own it, but the other person still has the liquor license and they're kind of operating the bar. That can make things a little tricky, but we'll be able to work through it, hopefully, whatever happens there. So hopefully everything goes smoothly. This might be the last time I ever go to the bar. I don't go there too often. I've bartended there once actually to help out. That was kind of fun. I went there with my wife, but that's the only time I've been into the bar when it was actually open. So I go there once in a while, but not very often. So it's not like it's a big sad thing happening, but it'll be a nice kind of weight off my shoulders to get done with this experiment. And it wasn't the best business. It didn't work out how I thought it would, but now I know, right? It's not like it's a total failure and a total waste, because I could have always wondered, hey, maybe I should have owned a bar and bought a bar and would have made tons of money, because I had literally another bar that we never got running, and this satisfied all that curiosity and then some. So now I know. So the liquor store and Mini Mart are still doing great. I still love those. So that will be definitely a focus and part of my business. I still real estate investing, buying buildings, selling buildings, flipping houses, even flipping multifamily properties. I think is the core of my business still. That's what I spend the most time doing. And of course, online education, my social media, YouTube, things like that, where I can help others learn how to invest as well as a core. But the store is kind of a cool little supplement, added income, and almost like a little hobby that makes money. So it's been cool too. I don't have any plans to just buy a bunch of more stores or add on to my inventory of stores or anything like that. It's a very unique store in a very small town, and it would be very difficult to find a similar situation where it literally has very little competition and just a small town store with apartments above it. I really like this setup. I think it's a really neat building, but it's tricky to scale something like that too. So because you have to find really similar situations, and for right now I'm just good having that little store, focus on my real estate stuff and online stuff too. So we'll be to the bar here shortly, another 5 minutes or so, and I'm even on time, a little bit early, which is good because I want to get there before they get there, check things out, and then get all of that transferred. Hopefully it runs smoothly. Hopefully they get their liquor license transferred over quickly, and now it is their opportunity to run the bar and have fun and go for that little business. And if somebody, I feel like if you're running a bar, unless you have a big setup, a big operation in a bigger town, these small bars, you almost need to be an owner-operator, someone who lives there, works in the bar, is there all the time to really make it be successful. So it's tricky just because this is a smaller town as well. There's just not a ton of clientele, and a lot of ups and downs, and it's a difficult business for sure. So, all right, we'll see how it goes. Be there soon, and take care. Here we are, and it doesn't look too different probably from the first videos I shot of this. I did more videos in the beginning when I bought the building, wasn't sure what was going to happen. I've done a lot less lately just because, like I said, I don't operate the bar, I don't run it, and it hasn't been the most fun. So some of the things that was done was added more selection, some shelves, painted in here, redid the outside as well, added a fridge and some countertops and different stuff to really make it work better. I know a couple of TVs were added as well, and pool table is here, added some of the games. That was a third party who provides those games for free, and he maintains them, and we just get half the revenue from them, or the operator gets half the revenue. And back here's a storage room. Just curious how much inventory there is in here, because inventory was included as part of the deal. It was negotiated that way instead of paying for all of it separately. When the building was bought, all the inventory was counted out and purchased separately, which is usually what happens in a business, but it was a little bit different on this one. And when you do something like that, you know, I feel like if I was going to buy it, I'd want all the inventory counted out and purchased outright, because there can be, you know, there's nothing to stop the operator from just running the liquor down to nothing, but then you don't know exactly when it's going to sell, and that can be a difficult situation. But obviously you want to keep it running, keep it in decent shape for being in business. And that's one thing too, we never talked about it selling or being for sale too much, because that can hurt sales, rumors can get started, all kinds of different things can happen in a business when it's for sale, and there can be lots of issues there. So once it's sold, a lot of times that's the first time you hear about a business selling, and you know, it can be tricky with staff and managers in that aspect as well. So the sale of the bar did not go through, which I kind of expected. I wasn't surprised about. So they had said, the buyers, that everything was good to go with the liquor license, they just needed the lease, which we'd actually signed and done last week, so I didn't know why that wasn't sent to them. But then we showed up today for the meeting, and they needed another form signed, kind of saying that no outstanding bills were owed or from the wholesalers who provide alcohol, and that needed signed before they could turn in their packet for the liquor license. And so they haven't even turned in their packet for the liquor license. That could be another couple days, another week. That can take some time. So I don't want to sell the business before they have their liquor license, because then we're still operating it while they own the business. It gets very confusing. I'm not operating it, someone else is. I interchange we sometimes, because I always say that on my properties, but it's not we, it's someone else. And the agent was almost pushing to get the business sale done. I'm like, no, we're not going to do this. We should wait till the liquor license is official done. I thought it would be like right away once we got the business signed over, but it's not. It's a ways away. So the sale of the bar is delayed a little bit more. No big surprise there. And then once the liquor license is officially approved, then it can transfer over. And so with the liquor license, you turn in fingerprints, have to do a background check, all kinds of paperwork, sales tax information, business license information, all kinds of stuff to the town. And then they will give you a temporary license if that's all approved. And then they have like a board meeting and give people a chance to say why it shouldn't be transferred, whatever. And there really shouldn't be any issue here, because it's a bar, it's been a bar. There should be no reason why it won't get transferred. But there's quite the process you have to go through. And before, I know, my store too, the same thing. We had to get like 3 different temporary licenses, because they're good for about 90 days. And then the state will issue your permanent license. Well, the state was so backed up, it took almost a year to get my permanent license at the store. And I think they have the permanent license at the bar, but it took a very long time too. And so that was a process, and you have to keep track of that too. It's not something where the state or the town will remind you that your license is up or you need to get another temporary license. You need to check those dates, make sure you're acting proactively and talking to the town beforehand, and not just, hey, oh, our date's passed, we need to get a temporary liquor license, we'll just operate. You have to have a license to operate, or that's very, very bad. And there's actually another restaurant I saw in a different town where they could not serve alcohol because they had let their temporary license lapse. It was a new purchase situation again, and the state was not allowing them to get a license right away, and I forgot, maybe there's some other issues going on, but it had been weeks where they were operating without a liquor license. They were, whoa, that car is almost pulling into my lane. So back to my thought, they weren't selling alcohol, they weren't doing anything illegal, they were just operating without alcohol. They couldn't sell any alcohol, so that's where that was. So for now, I guess we'll wait a week or so and see if this bar sells. You will not be seeing this video until the bar sells officially, the business at least. But I wanted to give some background, show what's going on up to that point. All right, thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll see you next week. All right, the bar business finally sold. It has been almost, 3.5 weeks since I shot those videos. So it finally took place. And this video right here is actually what the bar looked like when I first bought the building over a year ago and had high hopes and was sort of excited, but not as excited when I found out I couldn't operate it because I already had a liquor store license, and I couldn't have a bar liquor license, and someone else had to operate it. But I learned a lot through this stretch, and it's nice to finally have it sold. So why did it take so long to sell? Well, I mentioned before we had to have that affidavit signed saying that no money was owed to the vendors before the town would sign off on the new liquor license. Well, the bar owners who I bought the building from had signed that themselves before, saying they didn't owe any money, and the town accepted that at that point. And we did the same thing this time, but the town did not accept that this time. They said the vendors themselves have to actually sign it saying no money is owed. And it just took a long time to get the vendors to sign off on that. We finally got that submitted, and then the town approved the temporary liquor license this week, and the new business owner met with the old business owner, got everything transferred, switched over, and today it is now the Ugly Pony Saloon and no longer the Poorhouse as the new name for the new owners. I have no association with them whatsoever. I do still own the building. That is not sold yet, but the new business is paying me rent until they can complete the sale of the building. And hopefully that happens eventually, but there might be some interesting hiccups in that as well too. They're getting an SBA loan, which is a small business association loan guaranteed by the government. And you kind of work with that in conjunction with your bank and the government. And well, the bank side approved the loan, and that's all good to go. And they're waiting for the SBA to approve it. And I talked to the lender this week, and they said, hey, we're all good on our side. We're just waiting for the SBA. But if the government shuts down, that could stop all SBA lending, and we don't know when we can get this loan approved. So if you haven't heard, the government is going to reach their debt ceiling very soon. If they don't come up with a new agreement to raise that debt ceiling, part of the government can shut down. And possibly the SBA is a big part of that shutdown. So hopefully that doesn't happen and they can come to an agreement to keep the government working. But if not, that may throw another hiccup into this whole situation. However, the main part of this was getting the business sold, getting new operators in place. And since that's done, that makes me very happy. I think a lot of people are very happy that has taken place. So we'll get the building side taken care of here eventually. But there are new operators, new people running the business. Good luck to you. I hope it runs amazingly and goes very well. And hopefully they get lots and lots of customers, because we realize that working in a small town can be very tricky, very tough as far as customers and different things. And there's lots of just real weird things going on in small towns. So good luck to the new owners, and hopefully it runs really, really well. So that's the update. No longer have any association whatsoever to the bar business, and I still own the building, but hopefully that will be sold here soon as well. I am selling the building for a little more than I bought it for, but I'm not making a lot of money, if any, whatsoever, because we did, as you can see in the old videos here, we replaced flooring, paint, redid the outside a little bit, added some more things, made it a lot nicer than it was when it was first purchased. So there we go. That's the story. I think I learned my lesson, and you were right. Those people who told me I shouldn't buy a bar, I was wrong. So you live and you learn, and sometimes you have to learn the lesson yourself. That's for sure. All right. Love the likes, love the comments, love the shares. Love seeing new subscribers as well. Be back with many more videos on our house flips, multifamily flips, the other business, the liquor store and mini mart that I still like and run, and advice videos as well, of course.